This is Nerd Hat.
This is Nerd Hat.
This is Nerd Hat.
Hey, nerds.
Nerds.
Hey, people.
What is up? What is up,
that's
nerds?
That's offensive.
That's offensive?
That's offensive. Nope. Nope. Wait, Alma wants to say something. You want to say something, buddy? Can you say, Our 2-year-old has the microphone right up to her face, and she's very cheery, but isn't saying anything. She's going to breathe into the mic. Sure, buddy.
Alma, you want to say hi? Say hi.
No.
You want to say hello?
Maybe not. Good job. You did a great job. Great job. Go. Ooh.
Oh.
This is so cute.
All right, nerds.
What are we talking about today? I mean, I know, but what are we talking about today?
So,
A well-known horror movie named The Banana Splits. I'm kidding.
Ah. Okay, so long pause.
Night of the Deadly Dead.
Not okay.
I broke people's brains. You heard it. It gave Windows death.
Don't worry, I'll edit out the pauses later.
Oh, you will?
I can.
That's a good idea.
I can edit them out if I have time.
That's good.
Anyway, we are here to talk about a film that I know I've been excited about this for a while. I don't know if you have, Will, but I have definitely been excited about this.
I found out about it when you told me.
Okay. Well, as soon as I've heard rumblings about the next Alien movie, as one does, for quite a while.
One does.
Yes. So it took a while for it to take shape, for it to get a title, director, etc., etc. They finally settled on Fede Alvarez, who has several horror movies to his credit.
Oh, it wasn't by James. I mean, Jim. Who? James? James.
Jimmy
Cameron?
Jim.
Oh, he hasn't done one since 1986.
Oh, boo. Okay. I didn't know it was directed by someone completely different. That's interesting. Oh my.
Well,
what are you doing?
so Ridley Scott directed the original and the very original 1979 Alien, of course, and he directed the two more recent films, Prometheus and Alien Covenant. The third film of that trilogy got canceled because Alien Covenant did so poorly in the box office.
Oh.
And this one
Sad
has happened instead. And I would have liked to have seen what he did with the third movie and where he took David's story, I must say. But I'm very happy with this entry into the franchise by first-time Alien franchise director Fede Alvarez, of course. And I like the fact that they got someone who not only is obviously a fan of the Alien films, but is also a horror director. So we're really going back to the sci-fi horror roots of the first. I guess the whole franchise has been sci-fi horror, to be fair.
True.
But some of the films are a little less horror and more, I don't know. This one goes back to the first two films and borrows a lot of DNA from the both of them. By the way, this is called Alien Romulus. I haven't said that yet. We're covering Alien Romulus today. But anyway, it borrows quite a bit, both thematically, aesthetically, tonally, from the first two Alien films, Alien and Aliens. Musically as well, borrows from those two. And I think it is definitely the closest to those first two films and perhaps the most worthy successor in some ways to the first two films. Alien 3 was kind of a disaster.
Wait. Hold on. Can you help me understand a couple of things?
Yes.
The one Will's face. The one that they did in the 1970s. I haven't seen that one, right?
Yes, you have seen it.
I have?
Yeah, that's the first one you saw.
That was in the 70s?
1979.
Oh, that's not the 1970s.
Yes, it is.
So Sigourney Weaver, the cat, and the alien at the end, and Bilbo Baggins.
Yes.
That was the first one.
That was the very first
All
one.
right. The second one was the one you were watching last night.
Yeah, and I think you've watched that with me
I have.
before.
I have. I just
Yeah.
don't remember how it ends. Remember the guy who's just emotional and overstimulated by light and feelings. That guy. But I haven't seen. Oh no, and I did see the not the Romulus one, the Prometheus one.
Yeah, I thought you watched that with me.
Yeah, was that the one that was bad?
No, actually, I really like Prometheus. I like
Okay.
Covenant as well, although
Oh, I
not as
haven't
much
seen Covenant.
not as
Okay.
much as Prometheus. Covenant definitely goes more straight horror, but it still has some of the philosophical underpinnings that Prometheus does. Like Prometheus is asking questions like, how did we get here? How did humans come to exist? And it proposes that the planet Earth was seeded by aliens from another part of maybe even another galaxy, but definitely another part of this galaxy. So that that begins with Prometheus, and they continue some of those themes into Covenant. But Covenant wasn't quite as good as Prometheus, in my opinion. It had a lower budget for one, so the CGI was not as good. It was a little disappointing. The acting was good. It had a lot of very good actors in it.
Yeah, who was it?
Michael Fassbender continues his role from Prometheus. He plays
I'm sorry, what's his last name?
Fassbender.
That's not real. Keep going.
At least that's not Fassbender.
I think that makes way more sense.
Fassbender.
No,
He's-
Assbender. I like that. That's funny. That's funny and confusing.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
Okay.
Sorry, Futurama.
Oh, I knew that was from something.
Yeah.
This thing,
So this,
in Avatar, if there was a bending class for bending ass.
I don't know.
I got lost for a second there.
I'm sorry, my jokes are lost.
No, it's okay. Our 2-year-old is like,
Yeah, she's trying to touch things.
she's trying to, yeah, she's just kind of.
It's like you tried to touch my leg last. You succeeded as well. Will.
What?
Remember he touched me last week or two
Soul.
2 weeks
That
2 weeks
sounds
ago.
so bad.
And then we started singing the song, and we're like, "Oh, don't sing that song."
So
And
naughty. Wait, what song?
he touched me.
Oh no. I don't like this. Let's go back to
Oh,
Covenant.
no.
Why was Covenant was bad because they had a lower budget. The effects were not as good.
Yeah,
But they had Michael Assbender in it, so that was good.
yeah, he's amazing. I love
Okay.
him.
Is
And,
he what else has he been in?
oh man, well, the only thing you might have seen him in is probably the newer X-Men movies. He plays Magneto. And
Ah,
That's his name?
Michael Fassbender.
That's no way.
But he returns. Numi Rapace
Wait a second.
returns.
He's the robot.
Sort of, yeah. He's
Babe.
the synthetic, yeah,
Wait,
the artificial
this is
person.
Covenant or Prometheus?
Covenant. So he returns in Covenant.
Well, I have not seen Prometheus then.
Yeah, you have.
No, I have not.
Did you not? I thought you watched it with me.
Because Covenant's the one I've seen.
Hmm.
And then his head is in a basket. I mean, a bag, right?
No, that's Prometheus.
Oh, then I have not seen
Yeah,
Covenant.
his head gets pulled out of his spine, so to speak.
Yeah,
in
and then
Prometheus.
okay, so Covenant is the one after that.
Yes, so he
Dang,
gets
how many did they make?
well in that particular part of the series 2. So total for the franchise. So let's count. Like canonically, there's Alien from 1979, Aliens from 1986, directed by James Cameron, then Alien 3, which came out in 1992, directed by David Fincher, and
Goop.
Alien.
Sorry. That was-
She just
Sorry, that was me sneezing. Sorry, I apologize.
Now she got me going. Sorry, audience. They have Alien Resurrection, which came out in I think 97
Wait,
or
can
98.
you just count how number? Just give me a number.
Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, so
You're kidding.
So we got 7 in the main
You're
universe,
kidding me.
and then there's 2 that are sort of outside of the canon. One's called Alien versus Predator, and the other is Alien versus Predator
okay.
Requiem or something like that.
All right, side
Requiem.
box. side soapbox time.
So there's 9 films in the
Nope.
universe total, but
Nope.
but 7 of
Nope.
them are actually connected.
Nope. So
Hmm.
this is where my dislike for things comes in. When people try to like keep things going, it's like, look, now did Toy Story do a good? Yes, they did, but they didn't need to do a good job. It was beautiful as it was. Did Lord of the Rings try to make something beautiful by remaking all? Yeah, they did. And was it good? No, it wasn't. It was
You talking
weird.
about The Hobbit?
No, yes. And then the Rings of Power, also weird. I don't want L's from the 70s, and that's what we got. It was not good. It's like, let a good thing die. Don't keep remaking it and remaking it and remaking it. Not remaking it, but like just making it into a series when that wasn't the original plan. No.
They're not remaking it. It's a different storyline, different age.
But like, it's like they don't need to keep adding on to the story. I don't. It just let a good thing have its time.
Us nerds who love those universes would beg to differ.
I know. That's why I'm on this
Well,
podcast to bring a different opinion.
I'm a little surprised because you love Lord of the Rings, don't you?
I love Lord of the Rings. That's why I think the others are trash. Harry, The Hobbit should not have been. I'm sorry. How many?
Oh,
Will, wait,
yeah.
Hold on. Will, how many books is The Hobbit? How many books?
One book.
That's my boy. That's my pretty, beautiful boy. It did not need to be 3 movies.
Oh, I agree with that.
3 movies. They trashed it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, 2 at the very most, but
2
one would have been better.
Is pushing it. Mm-mm.
Yeah, the one thing I really like about what they did with that trilogy was adding in the White Council. That was great.
Racism.
Cool.
No, so yeah, I thought there were 3 alien movies and the 3rd one came out. That's what I thought.
Oh no.
Up here we go. Alma, don't touch that plant.
Bless you, Laura. Bless you for not counting all the bad ones.
You know.
All 2 of them.
Wait, what do you mean? You're giggling. Why are you giggling, Will? Tell me.
Well, what are your thoughts, Richard, on Alien Resurrection and Alien 3?
Alien 3 is just depressing. It is too depressing.
Oh, I like a good depressing.
It doesn't have enough suspense or horror. It's just depressing and boring, honestly. At least I've only seen it once. I need to revisit it at some point. But yeah, and I've heard the backstory. I know a lot of the reasons why it got ruined, and it had little to do with the director. It had a lot to do with the producers and just bad decisions that they made and forced the director into. I would love to see the director's cut someday if it ever comes out. I've heard that his vision just sounded better, David Fincher, but his hands kind of got tied by the producers, so they kind of ruined that one, as they sometimes do. Alien Resurrection, I think tonally, it didn't know what it wanted to be. It wanted to be a little bit comedic. Didn't pull that off at all. It didn't strike the right tone, but I do need to revisit it. I've only seen it once. So those 2, I've only seen it once, and I have not been eager to revisit them.
Right. Those were the 2 Alien movies that I didn't think were all that great. But I like all the rest that I've seen. I have not seen the Predator Alien films, and I have not seen the sequel to Prometheus yet. Let's get back to Romulus.
Yes, back to Romulus. So Romulus, I think, goes back to the first 2 and borrows a lot of its DNA from those 2 films. Now it does pull in some elements from Prometheus and Covenant in an interesting way, but like I said, tonally it's definitely a close relative of the first 2 films, which are still, in my opinion, the best.
Yeah.
I just rewatched Aliens last night. It's funny how I do that. Sometimes, like, I'll rewatch it, and then if I haven't seen it for a while, I'll be like talking it down in my head, and then I rewatch it again, and I'm like, why did I have any negative thoughts about this? This is so good, and it's rewatchable. It's probably the most rewatchable in the series, I would say, overall. Aliens.
Cool.
What year was that second one?
86.
86.
Mm-hmm.
The year I was born.
No.
I love how you jumped on that. No.
Making yourself older than you are.
No. No, you weren't, child. You were born later.
It was James Cameron's second film. Like his first film was 2 years before that, Terminator.
Boo. I'm just kidding. That was fine.
Yeah, and then Aliens was his second venture, which he knocked it out of the park. Like he did a really good job.
So the one that just came out, what's it called?
Alien Romulus.
Okay. Why is it called Romulus?
So Romulus. So the simple answer is there's a space station in the movie that has two sides to it, and they're named after the brothers of Roman mythology, Romulus and Remus.
Yeah, I thought
so. One side is Remus, one side is Romulus. And the Romulus side, I think, is where
the shit hits the fan.
Yeah,
right.
They're doing experiments on aliens.
Oh, that's mean.
So the movie begins where I think it's an automated vessel from the Weyland-Yutani Corporation picks up basically the frozen remains of the alien from the first film.
Ooh, that was fun.
So like,
wait, the one where like its head exploded?
No, she blew it out the airlock at the end. So it just got blown out the airlock and it froze in space, basically.
Oh, they found it?
Yeah, so they apparently, I think if I remember seeing the timeline, they were hunting for it for years and they finally located it inside the wreckage of the Nostromo, which doesn't make any sense. Like that was a major plot hole because the Nostromo blew up in a nuclear explosion. I don't think there would have been any debris left, so that was a little dumb. But they were trying to do a quick visual reference so people knew what it came from. I'm like, that wasn't necessary, and it didn't, and it was inaccurate. So that is a plot hole, but it's not a huge deal. I think I understand why they did it, but it was definitely an oversight on their part. But anyway, they find the alien, the body of the alien from the first film that Sigourney Weaver's character Ripley blew out the airlock of the shuttle or whatever that was attached that she escaped in at the end. And they begin experimenting on it. And the experimentation takes place on the space station. I don't know what the whole name of it was, but one side's Romulus, the other side's Remus. So the Romulus-Remus space station or whatever.
She's whispering into the mic. It's really cute and terrifying.
What do you have to say, Alma? Do you want to talk about aliens?
Oh, we have to keep some of this. This is too cute.
I'm still here. I'm just not sure what to comment.
No, we were letting Alma have her give her input. I did lose track on the last thing you said. Can you repeat the last thing?
So the movie begins, Alien Romulus begins, where a automated spaceship from Weyland-Yutani picks up the frozen body of the alien, and then they take it to this, I guess, newly constructed space station with two sides, one being called Romulus.
Okay.
And they start experimenting on the alien's body in attempts to
that's dumb.
replicate it.
That's dumb.
Effectively. Yeah, really, really dumb.
Okay. Sorry, we're trying to entertain the baby again by way of a video game. I mean, a game on the phone. Alma, do you want to play a game?
You're right. Any game on the phone is not a true video game. Gamer opinion. Gamer opinion.
Some pretty cool games. Like there's some good casual games. I would not bother to try and do what belongs more in the console world on a phone, but there are some games that I like. They're nice casual games. Yeah, I prefer the ones you can do one-handed. Yeah, because you can do it while you poop. So.
Oh wow! I'm learning things about my husband.
Or when you're holding a child with the other hand, which
is babe.
Frequent.
You know, I can't judge you there. You know, I like a good pooping game.
Oh yeah. I haven't done Candy Crush in a long time. I feel like I need to revisit that at some point.
Let's go back to the experimentation on the alien.
Yes, so they're experimenting on the alien, trying to. They don't really talk much about it because when we find the space station, everybody dead.
Wait, on Romulus?
Oh yeah, everyone's dead.
That's dumb. Well, some people dumb.
Yeah, they're very dumb. Scientists and corporations in the alien universe keep doing dumb things. It's like, let's make it into a bioweapon. Let's clone it. Let's No, how about you follow
Let's
Ripley's advice and just nuke it from orbit?
Nuke it.
Nuke it.
So who finds the thing? Who finds Romulus?
So our
Remember
main
what-
characters are workers. They're basically mining workers on a Weyland-Yutani planet. This corporation basically has terraformed and more or less owns a number of planets. And the people that are there are under contract to do various jobs, mining being the primary one. And you get the impression from just the little bits and pieces that they give you that it's very oppressive,
Okay.
and they're definitely taking advantage of people and not treating them well. But there's so we have our protagonist. Her parents had died just a couple years before, just
Selfish.
from, I think, exposure to the mining eventually kills you, is kind of the impression they give. And she's friends with several others. Like, these are young people in like their early to mid 20s, basically. I don't have them in front of me, like all their names. I feel bad. I can't remember all the characters'
It's
names
okay.
at
They're
the
not
moment.
important. Keep going.
But anyway,
Yeah,
this
most of them aren't.
expendable. So she has a synthetic for a brother, so to speak. So her dad found a synthetic that had just been thrown in the trash, and he fixed it as best he could, reprogrammed it, basically to look out for her, to protect his daughter. So she looks at this synthetic as her brother.
Okay.
So I guess they've been together a long time. But he has speech problems and stuttering and anxiety issues, and like, so
What?
yeah, like he's a synthetic human, but he has malfunctions. It's probably why he got thrown away.
Man, this sounds like a real human.
Yeah, that
He
happens.
malfunctions and has anxiety.
That's why he got thrown away.
Oh,
But he is a very integral part of the plot. So she has a friend who wants to, I mean, they all want to get off the planet. They want to get off that planet. They want to get away from there, get out, finish their contracts. And we find out that she has completed hers. She met her quotas and wants to be reassigned to another planet. But then the bureaucrat, or maybe not bureaucrat, but the company representative is like, surprise, we just increased everyone's quotas. You have to work for another 5 years.
Steve, oh no.
She's like, it's like she's just devastated. She's gonna be stuck there for another 5-6 years. And her friends, I think, feel similarly. Like, she's friends with these 3 siblings. They're all Hispanic.
Hey!
So 2 brothers and a sister. And they lost their dad in the mines. There was a dangerous situation, and it was one of those scenarios where you got to make a decision, like right now, to save a larger group of people, knowing that a smaller group is going to die as a result. So synthetic made the decision. Their dad died. So 3 people died, but 12 people were saved, kind of situation. But the youngest brother is very bitter about that and hates synthetics because of it, understandably. Okay. The oldest brother, is kind of the ones that looks after his siblings, and I think they're all supposed to be in their 20s, but like different ages, or the youngest might be like 18, 19, thereabouts. So the 3 of them are friends with, but yeah, Caitlin Spaney, who's the actress's name, like her character, the main protagonist, she's friends with 3 of them. So the oldest brother has a proposal. He has a plan for getting off of the planet. They live in a spaceship, which is still operational, apparently. I guess it's something their parents had. And his plan is, like, he has located a derelict space station that's just floating in orbit. And as best he can tell, like, no one has tried to salvage it yet. It's just floating out there. And he's like, hey, let's be the first ones to get there. They might have some working cryopods, and then we can take the cryopods and then travel to this other planet that we hope is better than where we're at now. because they don't have any cryopods in their spaceship, so they can't travel long distances.
Or they get old.
Yeah, they'll get old and die on the spaceship. So that's the plan. He eventually convinces her and her brother to go with him, and they need her brother, who is a synthetic, because he can interface with the computer, which apparently all the onboard computers on these things are called Mother.
Motherfucker.
Yeah,
And his name is Andy, by the way.
Andy. Okay, Andy. Thanks for looking that up. I could not remember. Like, I remember so many other things, but I couldn't remember character names. So her synthetic brother is integral, but she's the oldest brother of the Hispanic family.
Tyler and you, Bjorn.
Hmm?
Is that it?
Bjorn?
Bjorn?
I don't know. Are you looking at the IMDb?
I'm looking at the cast.
Yeah. So the oldest brother, he has to talk to. You said Andy was the girl's name.
No. Excuse me. Andy is the synthetic's name.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And the sister is Rain.
Rain. Okay. So Rain realizes that her brother Andy is not going to be able to go down. Is most likely not going to be able to go to the planet because they don't allow, I guess, older model synthetics there or something like that. Only biological people or like normal people.
That's right. Take it personally, Andy.
So she doesn't tell him at first. She's like, what am I going to say? And eventually, once he does find out, he's still willing to help. But that kind of kicks things off. They go up to the spaceship. They're trying to salvage the cryopods. And they realize when they first get there and they're checking them out that two things. Number one, there's issues with the gravity on the station. Like, so it has to do a purge of the gravity wells or whatever every so often. I think like 5 minutes at a time, gravity will suddenly shut off and then reinitiate. So that comes around several times throughout the plot.
What do you mean gravity will shut off? Meaning there won't be gravity.
Gravity just shuts off and they start floating. And then it'll turn back on.
I wish I could do that to our kids, like for timeout, and the gravity.
Turn off the gravity.
Yeah, and then they just start floating. We have to like tie them to each other or something just to make sure they don't float away. Now what? Now what, kids? Can't run away if you're floating. Sorry, that's
no, it's
just,
okay.
Yep.
It's okay.
I find duct tape is handy.
Okay, so yes, that's borderline abusive, but I've definitely thought about it, Will, because makes sense, right?
So that's one thing they realize about the gravity issue, and the other problem that they come across is that there's not enough fuel in the cryopods. But he looks at the schematics. This is the two brothers he looks at the schematics and sees that there is a room that is using cryofuel to keep everything really cold. So it's like, hey, we can go use that. It's the same type of fuel. We can take that and use it for the cryopods. So he and his brother start to head to the room there. And when they get in, it's already a bit ominous. Like there's water, there's like a couple inches of water on the floor. It's cold in there. And he finds the canister of fuel. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So Tyler's the oldest brother. Kay is the sister. And Bjorn, yeah, you had it right. Bjorn, inexplicably, his name is Bjorn, is the younger brother. And then they also have another friend, an Asian friend who goes by Navarro. At least the actress who plays her is Asian, Aileen Wu. And she had her head shaved, so she had just a really cool kind of like badass look in the film. Like, and she's the pilot, I think, of the group, or at least the most talented pilot of the group.
Yes.
So this intrepid group of youngsters, so they're trying to get the fuel, and of course, guess what's in the room where the cryo fuel is?
The Jesus.
Jesus's body. It's been frozen in space for thousands of years.
Oh dear.
No, but it is alien bodies, specifically the face huggers, like the things that can implant humans with the embryos
that bang the face.
Yeah, very much so. Mouth rape.
Ew,
It
Yeah,
is.
I guess
It
that's
is.
true.
It is mouth rape.
Thanks for ruining that for me.
Richard, you did not have to say that. The way I said it was much better.
Bang in the face. Okay.
Face bangers. Like the mouth rape is
New
just so
new hard rock group.
so graphic, man.
Well, I
Golly.
say that because others who have talked about these films talk about that fact. And
Face bangers.
in the first film,
Hot stickers and face bangers.
like the first film, that's something that it kind of turns it on its head a bit because it's a man that gets raped in a sense, which most movies it's usually a woman who gets raped, but a man gets raped by an alien basically in the first film and gets impregnated. Granted,
Okay.
anyone of any gender can get impregnated with the embryos, so it is significant in the very first film that a man that gets it first.
Face banged.
Yeah.
I will say that the face hugger's gonad is very large and long in this film.
Why do you have to say that, Will? That was unnecessary. That was unnecessary, Will. No. Why? Why?
Because in my head, I still think we're the Reverend Nerds for some reason.
It's okay. I
Hey,
guess
we can
it's
still be irreverent. We're the same people.
See people different.
I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm always trying to play the part for the audience.
Hey, you're good.
Telling crude jokes isn't exactly the same as being irreverent. Like, yeah, anyway. Oh, we're coming up on about a minute 30 seconds in this session, so we'll need to pause soon, go to a commercial, and come back to finish up. Just so everyone's aware.
Gonads.
No, Will. Why did you?
Gonads.
You know what? When we do like a live, not a live recording, but like when we do video, it's gonna be really funny because the way Will said gonads and looked into the camera was very hilarious. Warmed my soul.
There you go.
But yes, we should.
Yeah, all right. So we're gonna pause, folks, and go to break more or less here, and we'll be back.
I love you.
Ash here. What's that, Mother? Yes, I agree their chances are slim. Nevertheless, I believe they wish to proceed with this week's episode. I believe it begins with Japan Jaunt, as Will Boyer will be discussing the book 47 Ronin in the first segment and the second segment on the Tanuki. Then, I believe the nerds will transition to a review of the 1979 sci-fi horror classic film Alien, of which, of course, as you know, Mother, I am the star. Oh, nerds. A warning. In space, no one can hear you scream. But, if it helps, you have my sympathies.
Hello. We last spoke about face banging. Will, do you have anything to add?
Not at this time, Laura.
Okay, the face bangers have. Wait, so really, did they? Oh, so that was in the room.
Yes. So in the room where they're extracting the cryo fuel, the face bangers we find out are being kept, I guess, in a form of stasis. And when Tyler extracts the fuel, when he and his brother extract the fuel, the face bangers start to thaw, I guess, and become active, and eventually break out of their little pods, which were not very well constructed. Like,
No.
it was easy for them to just pop out of there. So maybe that's another plot hole, or just another example of in the alien world anyway, corporate scientists being dumb, or perhaps being overruled by corporate types who are about money. That's a theme that runs through. Well, definitely in Aliens, we see that theme.
Yeah.
Like, this seems to be That's an Avatar as well, so that's a James Cameron thing, but it definitely pops up in this movie as well.
How did they contain them all without dying anyway?
I guess they put them in cryostasis effectively. I think
It's
so. They were asleep, more or less. The facehuggers.
But how? How did they do that? How did they package them like summer sausages without being face raped?
I don't know. I don't know if they grew them in those little pods. But yeah, it was all too easy for them to get out, like far too easy for them to get out. So that was very poor design, which maybe that's why everybody's dead in the first place.
wait. So when you say get out, like what are they like slinking everywhere? Are they just going and like
they just kind of burst open like a
are they flying?
They
like,
crawl very quickly.
Okay.
They can only crawl. Well, I guess they can jump a little bit too, but crawl and jump, and they make a beeline for any mammal or any warm-blooded mammal or animal nearby.
That's just mean. What are they gonna do to a mouse?
I can be your backpack while you're running.
They might give it a try with a mouse.
So guys, I have a dumb question and I think I know the answer, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. Is cryo sleep? That's not a real thing, right?
They're working on it. Like I don't think it's been realized yet, but I do believe scientists are working on it.
Because they do it in movies like it's a real thing, and I'm like, I think
Not real.
What?
It's not real yet, but sometimes
wait. I want to hear what Will's saying.
Scientists may dumbfound me and figure it out, but in my current opinion, freezing someone usually causes them to die.
Oh, I didn't know you. Wait, they're being frozen. Is that the idea?
Basically, the idea is to slow the biological functions down so that, and this is the sci-fi idea of it. You slow someone's biological functions down to where they age at a different rate.
Okay.
Like you can be in cryosleep for 7 years, but I think it also helps. I guess it's supposed to help with like the passage of time, like so you don't get bored or something. But
see, that's just white privilege right there.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. No, we are too fancy to be bored for too long. We have all this money. How can we pass the time? Oh, we can kill ourselves, but then raise back from the dead when things are more interesting.
Oh.
I'm from the Forever Young stage of life. Do you remember that? Did you see that movie, Mel Gibson?
Forever Young, maybe once.
And Elijah Wood when he was little teeny tiny.
I'm familiar with it. I don't know if I ever saw the whole thing.
Yeah, they put him in cryo sleep, and he woke up, and then his body was like, "Oh shit," and then aged rapidly within like 24 hours, and that was not good. And it was but part of my brain thought it was real. Okay, anyway. So the little bloodsuckers can have escaped. What happens next?
So they try to bang the two brothers' faces and do not succeed initially. Like because the other crew were not yet on the space station. They're still on the ship. They see what's going on. They see that the two brothers have gotten trapped in there. They can't get the door open. So they rush in to help them. They finally figure out a way to get the door open enough for the brothers to get out. And they're able to stop the facehuggers from getting out, all except one. And that one, manages to face bang its first victim. We're just going to keep using that terminology now. Navarro gets successfully attacked first and implanted, though you don't know for sure. But yeah, they are actually able to succeed in getting the thing off of her, but through some brilliant ideas, some collaboration between the synthetic. Which, by the way, here's an important plot point. This is something that happens in the course of trying to help the brothers. They realize that they can't. Once the emergency protocol is is in place for that room, they can't reopen it with normal synthetic access. So they have to find a chip from another synthetic that they think is that it had been half destroyed by alien acid blood, but his chip is still in place. It's still intact. So they put the chip into Andy, and
Bad idea.
he's able to get access to the door, but it also changes his directive, and now he is serving the company.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Also, it fixes his stutter and everything.
It's a different. What'd you say, Will?
Also, it fixes his stutter and everything.
Yeah, so he's functioning better than he ever has, but his directive of like protecting Rain above all else has been countermanded by a directive to protect the interest of Weyland-Yutani Corporation, which for them is continuing the experimentation.
Why don't they just take the chip out?
Well, he won't let them at first. He refuses. He's like, I'm sorry, because now he has his new directive, so he can't let them take the chip out.
He's being a big old bitch.
But for the most part, their interests are generally aligned, so he's still able to help. He still helps them, but only because their interests are aligned, at least for a time, with the interest of Weyland-Yutani. Which, by the way, the other synthetic, they eventually have to bring it back online and like hook it up, even though it's all it is the top of torso. Like the bottom torso was eaten away by the acid blood.
Ooh.
But the top is still in the brain, it's still functioning. So they plug him in, and it's one of the same type of units from the very first movie, the one that looks like Ash. So it looks just like Ash. That's the synthetic from
Bilbo?
the first movie. Yeah, Bilbo.
Ooh.
So it looks just like him. Although they did like a CGI version of him.
Is he dead?
No, the actor's not, but
Okay.
but they had to make it look like the first film because this takes place only 20 years after.
Oh.
That was they didn't do a great job with that. Like the CGI looked very fake.
Yeah.
So that was a little disappointing. Maybe some of that's a result of the lower budget that this movie had. They apparently didn't try to use deep fake. But anyway, so we find out that his directive is he's been developing a serum of sorts that will basically turn humans into alien human hybrids. He's like, humans need to be more resilient for all these corporate mining planets, because they keep dying, so they need to be more resilient. So he's helping the company look into making alien human hybrids.
My question is, why can't they just use all the minor synthetics?
Yeah, that's a good point. Why not? Why not just make them? Maybe it's too expensive. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe corporate
I guess
breed.
cheaper to just breed humans, I suppose, than to make a bunch of synthetics. Yeah. So anyway, the majority of the rest of the film is them. So he says, "Hey, I will help you escape." Oh, by the way, this is a point we hadn't mentioned. The space station is in a decaying orbit, and it's going to run into the rings of the planet within 36 hours of when they first get there. So they have limited time to make all of this happen before it's going to get destroyed. So they're on a time crunch, and the synthetic, we'll just call him Ash for now. Ash 2.0. So Ash 2.0 is like, hey, if you help me, I'll help you. I want you to take this, this serum and get it to the ship on the other side of the station, and then I'll help you escape. because their other ship had been destroyed, I think, or damaged. So basically, the rest of the movie is them trying to get that accomplished, and then they run into aliens and they have to fight the aliens, and there's some epic fight scenes and definitely some very on the nose callbacks. Some of them are very on the nose, almost too much so, callbacks to the first two movies.
Right.
Even which didn't work at all. It was about as effective as when they did this in Star Trek universe, but at one point Andy the synthetic, he uses Ripley's line from Aliens, like, get away from her, you bitch. And it's like, it just doesn't
Oh,
work.
yeah, I hate it.
I'm like, leave that to Ripley, man. Like, don't put that in someone else's mouth. That's about the equivalent of when they rebooted the Star Trek and like Kirk dies and Spock is like, God. Which is like straight from Star Trek 2. It's just like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
So was there, I mean, I'm assuming there was so much intensity. I'm assuming there wasn't time for it, but was there any character development?
Yeah.
What do you think, Will?
Well, I think Andy and Rain develop their relationship develops in demons. Andy, he's a synthetic, but his character development is by the end of the film, his synthetic person is illegal on the planet they're going to having him have a new directive, which is what is best for us, not what is best for Rain. But I guess it's debatable if that's really character development or not.
Okay.
I think it's fair to say it is, or maybe relationship development.
Yeah. I just like it when characters are complicated or more complex than just two-dimensional. Like, that's really cool.
So we should probably start wrapping this up. Will, what were some of your favorite moments from the film? Or maybe to ask it another way, what did you love and was there anything you hated?
Dude, well, that's I love most of the entire film.
It was almost too much so, callbacks to the first two movies. Even which didn't work at all. It was about as effective as when they did this in Star Trek universe, but at one point Andy the synthetic, he uses Ripley's line from Aliens, like, get away from her, you bitch. And it's like, it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
I'm like, leave that to Ripley, man. Like, don't put that in someone else's mouth. That's about the equivalent of when they rebooted the Star Trek and like Kirk dies and Spock is like, God. Which is like straight from Star Trek 2. It's just like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
So was there, I mean, I'm assuming there was so much intensity. I'm assuming there wasn't time for it, but was there any character development?
Yeah.
What do you think, Will?
Well, I think Andy and Rain develop their relationship develops in demons. Andy, he's a synthetic, but his character development is by the end of the film, illegal. His synthetic person is illegal on the planet they're going to having him have a new directive, which is what is best for us, not what is best for Rain. But I guess it's debatable if that's really character development or not.
Okay.
I think it's fair to say it is, or maybe relationship development.
Yeah. I just like it when characters are complicated or more complex than just two-dimensional. Like, that's really cool.
So Will, just FYI, we had to stop the video for a minute there, and the connection was getting weak. So
Oh, okay.
That's on our end.
That's fine.
Yeah. So we should probably start wrapping this up. Will, what were some of your favorite moments from the film? Like, or maybe to ask it another way, what did you love, and was there anything you hated?
Dude, well, that's I love most of the entire film. I can't really think of anything I actually hated until you reminded me that Andy's quote came out of Ripley. Was that her character's name? Sigourney Weaver's mouth.
Yeah, Ripley.
Yeah, I hate it when they do that too.
Yeah, they very much contextually it fit the scene by itself. But for anyone who's seen the first movie, it's like, oh, that's dumb. Why'd you have to do that? You don't need to do that. They recreated a couple of iconic shots as well, which doesn't bother me as much as the quote, but still felt a little forced. I know it's trying to be like an homage to the first one, but anyway, so that was something you also didn't like. You said you loved most of the movie. Was there anything that disturbed you in the movie?
Yes. Well, I think the most disturbing part was, and we haven't gotten to this yet, is when the pregnant woman takes the serum and rapidly gives birth to an alien baby.
There's a pregnant woman in this one too.
Yeah. So Kay, the sister,
Okay, but that's like the third one.
The baby is
Prometheus,
very
yeah.
disturbing.
Yeah, well, she's normal pregnant initially, and then she's afraid she's gonna either that she's gonna die or that her baby is dying, so she chooses to inject herself with the serum, the alien human hybrid serum, not fully knowing what it's gonna do, and later gives birth to a monstrosity.
Monstrosity
that they have to kill.
Oh.
It's definitely the most horrific
It's so
part
weird.
of the movie. And Will, I found this out. I need to double check this, but apparently that wasn't CGI.
What oh really? They made some sort of ugly puppet?
No. Apparently there was a real person in They found this apparently supposedly anyway. I saw this online. I need to double check it, but supposedly the tallest basketball player in the world, who's like super thin and has a really long neck, was wearing a suit. Like,
oh, that's crazy.
And I had no idea because I thought it was full CGI, or something along those lines.
I like that. That's fun.
It's that makes it even creepier, honestly. That there's a human that looks obviously with augmentation, but like that is that thin and has a long neck, and I was like, oh, because I saw a picture of the actual guy and I was like, the actual guy looks a little creepy. Not his fault, but I mean, just abnormal, I guess. It's that uncanny valley thing, and it definitely is like a mix of it's kind of like a mix of the engineers from Prometheus and humans. It's like the height of the engineers, but really thin, like the alien creatures. Then has some human features as well. It's really horrific. Like, oh, and it came out of the pregnant woman, and that part is like she gives birth to a pod, which then gives birth to the baby.
Okay.
Sort of. Yeah, it's a little crazy.
Yeah, and my wife Mandy loves horror movies, but for that reason, I think I probably wouldn't take her to see this one.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, that's a little much.
Fun.
Yeah, it's arguably worse than the pregnancy scene in Prometheus, where she has to do the C-section on herself. Now that's pretty bad too, but this was arguably worse. Which I guess they were trying to one up that, I suppose.
I guess
she doesn't die from giving birth, but
which she should have.
But later, apparently, dies when the thing tries to breastfeed.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What movie are we talking about?
Alien Romulus.
That is so unfortunate. Who? There has to be a dude deciding. You'd be funny. Is if funny, like when it tries to like nurse, like the woman dies. That'd be hilarious.
He, like, sucks the life out of her.
No, that's so dumb. I don't. What on earth? It was so dumb.
I mean, it's body horror. There's a sense in which, when you're breastfeeding, in a sense, the kid is
sucking the life
sucking
out of
life out of you.
But
and-
if it's overdone though, it's just stupid.
yeah, like, yeah, it's definitely meant to be body horror.
Ugh, so dumb. Well, fun. Okay.
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 So, ratings. How many nerd hats would you give this thing, Will?
4.5 out of 5.
Oh,
4.5? Nice.
even with
I
the
believe-
okay, all right.
Well, the reason why is because I've seen a lot of slightly inferior films that I've given a 4 to, and I'm just like, well, this was a really good film. It has its flaws, but I feel like it's almost flawless, and I just need to. I could say a 4.25, but I just felt like it needed to be a little higher than a 4.
Nice.
It's better than Thor. I don't know what you rated for. Not Thor, Aquaman.
Oh, I think we gave
Boo.
Aquaman a 3.25.
It should be less. It's so dumb. So dumb.
And she hasn't even seen it.
I saw enough to know that it was a mistake.
We're talking about the second one.
And so probably
mistake.
not much better.
Not much.
There's not
no.
much you can redeem in the first one. There's not much. All right, what's your rating, babe?
Close to that. 4 is a little too low, but because of the plot holes and a couple of unnecessary callbacks, that lowered it a little bit for me on reflection. But yeah, just I really enjoyed it, and honestly, I want to go watch it again. It's just very rewatchable, similar to Aliens in that way. It's a good action sci-fi horror. Yeah, so I'm gonna say 4.25 nerd hat. It would be a 4.5 if it weren't for some of the glaring plot holes.
Yeah.
And a couple of just the overt callbacks that you could evoke the tonality and things of the originals without having to add those little in your face callbacks. That just wasn't necessary. So that ruined a little bit of the fun for me, but still definitely enjoyed it. But yeah, 4.25 for me.
Awesome.
I'm not giving you the rating, but I would like to go see it because I liked this conversation we had about the face bangers and
That was very good.
and the creepy stuff, and that there's 3 siblings that are Hispanic, and that I don't know, it just all sounded interesting. It sounded like what you said. It sounded enjoyable. So
Oh yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, and I think if I were to rank it amongst the Alien films, the canonical ones, the 7, I think I would put it at number 3 currently, behind Alien and Aliens, because I like Prometheus, but it also had plot holes, and it just didn't have any. There was no fun. This had. I had more fun. Not that this had humor in it. It didn't really have any humor.
I just love
but-
watching people suffer. It's just so
I think it
fun.
had to do with the pacing, maybe, or maybe Prometheus just took itself a little bit too seriously.
Yeah.
And this definitely is more akin to Aliens, so very rewatchable. But anyway, I think I would put Romulus at number 3 behind the first 2 films.
Okay.
Prometheus would probably be number 4 for me. I haven't decided on what the final 3 ranking is, but Alien 3 probably at the bottom because it's just so damn depressing and boring. Honestly, it's boring and just depressing. All right, nerds, we're finishing up. Thanks for joining us for another episode. Until next time,
Sayonara.
live long and prosper.
Yep.
Nerds, Richard here. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. While you wait for the next one, I would like to invite you to connect with us online. There are several ways you can do that. You can follow us on Instagram at NerdHatPod, find and like us on Facebook at NerdHat,
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nerd Hat Entertainment, and of course, you can follow us on all the major podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Live long and prosper, my fellow nerds.